Welcome to the Board Wrap-Up Show. I'm your host, Sean Anderson. This is the Board Wrap-Up Show for Ponca City Public Schools with Superintendent of Ponca City Public Schools, Shelley Arrett. And we get right to it. This is the Board Wrap-Up for May. And it was a busy meeting. Before we get into agenda items, a lot of construction, especially as we reach the end of school, because a big construction time is over this summer.
That's
of course,
right.
Can you give us
That's
an
right.
update?
Sure, we've had some major projects and our community's shown a lot of interest in these, so I thought I'd update you on our latest. I won't talk about all of our projects, but I'm sure our patrons have seen the weight training facility that is just to the east of Robson. It is complete now. It is a 10,000 square foot facility, and 8,000 of those square feet are for the weights, and it kind of has dove colored walls and it has a rubber mat floor, but the weight equipment is the beautiful navy blue and red with our new logos all over it.
Wow.
It is a facility of great pride for our community. One of our athletes came in and actually cried when he saw it. And the good thing about the weight room, a lot of people think it's just for football. It's for all of our boys and girls sports, and it will help us it'll be a game changer for our athletes.
Yeah, and what a lot of folks don't know is the strength training coach. I mean, he helps out all of the
Yes.
different teams, not just football.
And this is a new position for us, and we've probably talked about it on this show, but we have hired a strength and conditioning coach, and he actually worked with Rob Glass, their strength and conditioning coach at OSU.
Oh, wow.
So he's a good one. We're so happy to have him.
Incredible. Well, Ponca City Public Schools over the years, of course, have benefited from many people that have dedicated their entire lives to education and to working with Ponca City Public Schools. Some have had their entire career right here with Ponca City Public Schools. And when you have a retirement reception recognizing the retirees, it's something very special. And that was part
It
of
is.
the
We
May meeting.
always do that during our May meeting, and this year we only had 8 retirees, and no one can remember when we've had that few of a number of retirees. Typically, our average number is about 22 retirees, so that's a good thing for us. We don't have a lot of experience walking out those doors. We had 4 certified employees. We had Kathy Kane, math teacher at Poe High, retiring. Ms. Josette Kelly, been with the district for a really long time. She's a 6th grade English teacher at West. We had Deb Meyer, a special education teacher at Poe High, retire. Terry Muchmore, a reading teacher at West, retired. And we only had 1 elementary teacher retire, and that's Cindy Watson, who currently teaches 3rd grade at Trout. So those were our certified retirees. Our support retirees are Betty LaRue, she's the finance secretary at West. Judy Satry, our testing secretary at Poe High. And Mabel Uriosti, she's our ELL/TA at Lincoln, and she's the only one who's been in the same position for 20-something years that she worked for us.
Wow. Well, as you're watching the show, and perhaps some of those names you're familiar with, of course, Mrs. Kane at the high school math teacher. She was a teacher for both of my daughters. We both graduated from Ponca City High School. And so I remember her name coming up many times around the dinner table over the years. What a wonderful teacher. And
We
congratulations.
hate to lose all of our retirees. They are phenomenal employees, and
For sure.
it's hard to see all that experience and knowledge walk out the door.
Yeah, well, it
But
comes
it
a time.
happens.
It happens, and that's okay. At least only 8 retirees this year, not 20 and 22, right?
Yes, it was wonderful.
Well, the Board of Education Awards, it's something that happens at the top or the beginning of the board meeting every month, and some big recognition to talk about
we want
today.
to recognize our certified employee of the month for May is Mr. Jeff Shelton. He's been a longtime employee of the district, and he is currently teaching special education methods and resources at Roosevelt Elementary. Our support employee of the month for May was Loretta Levitt. She's worked at several sites in our district, but currently she is the Title I TA at Lincoln Elementary. And then the friend of education, someone who volunteers, who's not on our payroll, was Ms. Erin Rutt. She's a PTA member and a volunteer at Trout. And it's always an honor to recognize our employees and our volunteers every month.
Congratulations to them. The annual developmental education rates. There was a special presentation at the May Board of Education meeting. I can't talk today for whatever reason. Superintendent Eric, what was this all about?
Well, Mr. Dilbeck gave a presentation in regard to students who were POHI graduates, went to college as a freshman, and had to take a remedial course for some reason or another. And he compared those rates to our peer districts, and those peer districts were Stillwater, Enid, Ponca City, and Sand Springs, and our percentages were lower in most of the core areas. There was one core area that we weren't the lowest, so that's a positive to be low in remediation rates.
Yeah, that is a big deal. That is a big deal. Building assessment reviews. That was part of the meeting. Tell us about that.
We've been doing that all year. Our principals come out and talk to us about their current reality, where their students are performing, what they're doing to make sure their students grow academically, and then just share some special things about their site. And the presentations this month were from Mr. Denton Long. He's our East Middle School principal, and Tim Williams. He's our principal at Woodlands Elementary.
Very good. Well, this May Board of Education meeting included a superintendent's report all about graduation.
All about graduation. Lots of details about graduation. Graduation is going to be held Friday night, March 25th, 8 o'clock p.m. in the Solons Stadium.
Okay.
However, if we have inclement weather, we will move the graduation ceremony to Robson Fieldhouse. So it's our hope that weather will be nice and we'll be in Solons Stadium.
Yeah.
8 o'clock p.m. It will be live streamed, by the way, so anyone can watch it live on our Facebook page.
That has worked really well.
It has. We did live streaming of our Grand March and the end of the era orchestra concert we had last Friday night.
Yeah.
We had lots of people tuning in.
I can remember it was a couple of years ago that I watched the live stream of graduation from the patio with a cup of coffee, and yeah, it was nice. It was perfect. And so
It's
for
perfect.
those, especially if it's a situation where there is inclement weather, and we certainly hope there isn't inclement weather, but if that happens, it goes into Robson. Of course, space is very limited, so that's
It
when the live
is.
stream really comes into
I
play.
believe students will have 6 rainout tickets that they can give to their graduations. And speaking of our graduates, we have 323 graduates this year.
Nice.
We have co-valedictorians. We have Abigail Spires and Kyle Shepard. And then we have a salutatorian, Areli Villalobos. So great students.
Oh, fantastic.
Lots of senior activities going on as well right now. Baccalaureate, if we're talking about graduation, is the Thursday night before. It will be in the Howe Auditorium at 7 o'clock p.m.
All right. Well, one of the things that continues on throughout the year, and there's a lot of Ponca City Public Schools that are year around, and one of them is keeping the cafeterias working with the summer feeding program.
We do have a summer feeding program. We do have extended school year, ESY we call it. It's our extended school year, our summer school for students who are on an IEP. So we will be feeding breakfast at Union Elementary for these students only, our ESY students. And that will be from 7:30 to 8, Monday through Thursday. ESY just runs Monday through Thursday through the month of June, June 4th through June 29th. And then we also open one of our cafeterias every summer, and it's for any of our school children to come in and have a meal for free, no charge. Currently, it's going to be the month of June, June 4th through June 29th, and it's Monday through Friday, and from 11 o'clock to 12:30 p.m. Right now, it's going to be at West Middle School, but one of our construction projects this summer is a remodel at West, so we're that's still kind of tentative. But if it's not at West, it will be at East Middle School, and we'll get the word out to the public if we move that.
All right, sounds good. Well, the regular yearly renewable contracts, it's something you got to do. And how did that go?
It went well. We approved a lot of renewable contracts for our software, our time and attendance, time clock, absence management, our evaluation tool. We have a financial advisor who advises us on our bond elections. So most everything was a renewable for the next school year. That was over $10,000. So
before we talk about the official change to the 17-18 calendar, there is an official change. We'll talk about that here in a moment. Going back to where we started with the construction update, that Performing Arts Center, I wanted to ask you about that. We drive by, we see the progress.
Yes.
Is it on track?
Yes, I want to talk to you about several of our projects. I mentioned the weight training facility. Yes. The concert hall is running a little bit behind, and as you can see, it's going to be phenomenal. You can tell that just from the view. It is a $9.7 million project. It will be open the first week of September. So it is running a little bit behind schedule. We were hoping to have it completed by about August the 8th, but with the sound engineering and all the metal, it's been a little bit delayed.
Sure.
So, but we will have an open house and invite our public in, and we'll have an open house on the weight room. I also wanted to talk to you about the new football locker room.
Oh yeah.
Which is in the student parking lot. It's actually on just beyond the east field goal.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That is going to be our new football dressing room. It is going to be 10,000 square feet of dressing room, and you can see the walls going up. And it's scheduled to be finished sometime in August. And the old football locker room, which was on the west side, is being remodeled for our visitors' locker room, which is going to be a great thing. It needed a remodel. And we're also, you might, as patrons drive by, they might see brick cutouts. Mm-hmm. We're actually going to put a ticket booth right there in the corner, so we don't have to have a separate building for the ticket booth.
Fantastic.
Then something that is going to look super sharp is we are going to do the black fencing from the northwest corner around Sullen Stadium that goes up to the ticket box. It's going to be like the fencing, similar to the same kind of fencing where our secure entrance is from Poe High to the Fine Arts Building, and people may have seen that when they have driven by. But it's certainly going to complete the look and of the facility of Sullens.
Very good. So many exciting things happening, exciting changes, and we can all look forward to. And of course, a big thank you to everyone who voted for
without a doubt. Without a doubt, our patrons are part of our school community. We feel more of a team with our community in Ponca City than we ever have before, and it's thanks to our community that we have these fine facilities, because as you know, a bond election has to pass by 60%, and our patrons have supported us in so many ways, and it's something to be proud of for our community and our district.
Yeah, certainly has, and certainly is. The official change to the 17-18 calendar.
And we've talked about this in our board wrap-up before, but throughout the teacher walkout, we missed 2 weeks of school. And we actually had, which was 10 days for students, 2 weeks of school, we actually had 8 days built into the calendar for our students in case we had inclement weather, snow, or a disaster such as a tornado or something like that. Students have to have 1,080 hours of instructional time per statute by law. And so we had 8 days that we could play with. We missed 10 days. So in order to have our students in school on the 25th as originally planned, we traded out the April 30th professional development day to an instruction day, and then we had a May 14th snow day built in that we would have been out if it hadn't been for that. So that allowed us to make up those 10 days of instruction.
All right, very good. Well, last on the list of things to talk about for the meeting, the rehire of the assistant principals. Is it a formality type thing?
It is a formality. Our administrators are hired on a year-to-year basis. We did renew all of our assistant principals, and we kind of start the process in March with our director, central administration, then we go to our principals and assistant principals in May, and then our returning staff were rehired in May as well, our teachers and support staff.
All right, very good. Well, that is going to do it for this edition of the Board Wrap-Up Show for May. Superintendent Shelley Arrett, thank you so much.
Oh, well, thank you. It's always a pleasure, Sean.
It is always a comprehensive wrap-up of the Board of Education meeting for Ponca City Public Schools and your complete source of information. And we'll be back next month. Thank you for watching. Until next time, I'm your host, Sean Anderson.